Hi everybody, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to show you a website that focuses a lot on reading. So this website is going to be good for LRE teachers if you have students that are working through an explicit phonics program or are working on fluency, decoding, comprehension, using things like sight words in reading, applying the phonics skills they've learned, different vowel types, digraphs, things like that. This will be a helpful website for you. So it is called reallyGreatReading.com, and we are going to go ahead and navigate to it. And it's going to bring you to this page. Now, Really Great Reading is a company that has its own specific reading programs. So if you're not using one of their reading programs, so it's okay. There are still some great tools on here that you can use with your students. The first thing I want to show you is something here called Countdown Resources. Countdown is one of their programs, but they do have some resources here that I would like to show you. And so one is this thing called Countdown Decodable Passages. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And these are passages that are written for early readers or for older students that are struggling readers. And you can see here it will give a description of the types of passages that are included. But these are passages that focus on early sight words and early phonics skills. So you can see we'll scroll down to where the passages begin. Here it gives you a chart of what each of the stories is called, and then it tells you the sight words that are in the story, and then some of the skills that are reviewed in the story. So if we were going to look at this story here, Max and Sam, you could see it has our sight words up here. And those are also highlighted within the text. And it also says that it focuses on short vowels. So you can see it's a short little story that focuses on sight words and short vowels. What I also liked about this resource is if we scroll back, so if I want to go down to page 17, oops, I passed it. Page 13, I'm sorry, page 13 in this example, it gives you example comprehension questions. So for that story we were looking at, Max and Sam, it gives you 4 example questions that are already set to go. So this might be a resource I would use if I had students that were working on fluency, decoding, comprehension. What I might do is I might use the repeated reading strategy or the listening passage preview reading strategy, where I might make a screencast recording just like this and actually record myself reading the passage. And then I would send that video to the student and that recording to the student with the printout, and so that they could listen to the story and read along, and then they could also read the story on their own. So that's one way that you could use these passages. Another idea that I'll share for some of the older students, and they have some higher level passages included, is you can make like a Kahoot game out of these quiz questions, and you could send a Kahoot link to your students to answer these questions. Or if your Google Classroom has a discussion board, you could put those questions in a discussion board format. So those are some ideas for these types of resources. Another part of this website I like is this letter tile free play. And so I'm going to choose mouse input. And what I like about this, if you have students who are building phonics skills, they could practice spelling their words on this board. So I could practice spelling the word fish. So if you are giving your students spelling words to practice every week, they could use these tiles to do it. If you need additional letters and patterns that aren't shown here, what you see is on the top is they have these other tabs. So they have vowels, they have different types of spelling like our bonus letters, they have a tab for prefixes and suffixes, and then chunks. I really love this if you are working on Wilson Reading or an Orton Gillingham program with your students. These word cards and tiles really match up to those programs. So if you were looking for a way to get some multi-sensory work in for those students, this would be a great resource to use. And it is free right now through the end of the school year. Then there are some other passages. I'll look at these BLAST resources. BLAST is another one of their programs, but they have decodable and they also have the fluency passages. So if I just go to their decodable passages, again, it's very similar to the other ones that we looked at. They're a little more difficult. But we'll just scroll down. Again, you can see same format. It gives you the title of the story, the sight words, and then some of the skills that they work on in that passage. So here's an example of one of these passages. And again, you can see they have the words to preview. And I would do something similar. I would record myself reading to this and I would send it home to my students to practice. And these stories also have comprehension questions that go along with it. There are also, if you are interested in some higher level passages, if you have older students that have higher reading needs, they have some ones for older students that are longer. And what I like about these passages is that they have this words to preview section, so they always have some definitions and some words. And then they have the actual story that students read and can time. These ones don't provide comprehension questions, but I think that's an important piece. So if I were using these, I would probably add some of my own comprehension questions. The final part of this website I want to show is this HeartWord magic. HeartWord is just this company's name for sight words or high frequency words, basically words students have to memorize because they don't follow phonics rules. And what I like on this page is they have these videos, these animations of sight words. So if you have students who have a sight word goal or are struggling to read and spell their sight words, they have these little animations of the words to show which parts are regular, which parts are irregular, and just something different if you needed some instruction to provide to your students. So again, this website is called Really Great Reading. It has some good fluency and decodable passages as long as some sight word practice and that letter tile board that really closely matches up with Wilson Reading if you're using that with any of your students. So thanks so much for listening, and I will be back tomorrow with another website.